1, 2, 3, audio test.
Hi, this is CB Radio Magazine, and today we're going to take a look at the President Remote Bluetooth microphone. This is something I had seen kind of pre-release, and now that it's available, I figured I'd buy one and kind of show you guys what it's all about. Idea behind it is it's a Bluetooth microphone so that you can kind of hands-free per se, even though it's not completely hands-free, but be able to mount it on your steering wheel and then use the microphone just like a standard CB microphone. It does have a noise reduction circuit, some other cool stuff. So let's jump in and I'll show you what it's all about. So this is what comes with the kit. You got your Bluetooth microphone here, which is mounted in a clip with a strap. You have your USB-C charging cable, and that plugs into the main component of the microphone there. There you can see the USB-C plug. That plugs in there. You have your Bluetooth transmitter, standard 6-pin President wiring on it, and that's what plugs into the radio. And then they do provide a couple little clips. These are for use with the strap when you get it set to the right position and are ready to strap it in. Now, the Bluetooth transmitter, it just is plug and play, like they say on the package there. It just plugs directly into your radio. It's not a threaded connection. It actually has kind of a little rubber boot around it that goes over the threads, and that kind of tension wise holds it in place. I probably would have preferred an actual threaded connection, but this was probably a cheap and easy way to make it go on there, and it stays on there no problem. It does stick out a little bit, which you'll see quite a bit farther than your other knobs. So if you have your radio mounted someplace where you're worried about someone bumping into it, that's something you might want to watch out for. I'm going to plug the power charging cable into the USB port on the President George FCC. Now, a lot of the newer radios do have USB ports on them. Great for charging a phone, or in this case, the Bluetooth microphone. So it has a red light that shows up while it's charging. The Bluetooth transmitter will flash red when it's not connected to the device. You'll see it flash red occasionally. When it's off and not connected, the radio still works normally. You can still receive, but you can see it's charging here. The microphone does release from the case. There's a little point in the front where it can push down and it disconnects. It's a little tough to get it out of there, I will say, but it does separate, so if you need to charge it separately from where it's mounted, you can do so. So mounting this is pretty simple. Imagine my finger there is the steering wheel. The strap just goes around. You'll put it up through the hole here, and then you'll just tighten it down on your steering wheel so it'll fit whatever thickness steering wheel you have. You'll pull it down, and then it has little pieces of plastic that stick up, and this kind of works kind of like a watch, I guess. You push the pieces through, and you can see the little plastic pieces sticking through there. And then you have this plastic kind of cap piece, and you'll put this over top and then push it down, and it'll lock in place pretty hard. I'm probably not going to push it in all the way right now, but you push that down and then it locks in. So once it's mounted in a vehicle, you can turn it on and you'll hear it connect. It's telling us it's now connected to the Bluetooth transmitter. We're using a President McKinley European version today, and you can see there's the Bluetooth transmitter portion. And if you just saw, it blinked green. I don't know how often it does that. We'll wait on the, oh, there it went again. So it's blinking green to let us know it's connected. And then you press the button, and there's two different modes for this. You can press the button to key up the radio, and it stays keyed until you press it again. Let's go to lower sideband and give this an audio test.
Audio, 1, 2, 3, audio. Audio, 1, 2, 3, audio.
So as you can see, transmits. You can see the audio on the scale there. You just press the button with your right thumb, depending if you're right-handed, I guess. This is where I kind of had this mounted in the vehicle. I didn't trim off the excess strap portion yet, but I think you'd probably want to do that. You want to be able to just hit it with your thumb easily and push the buttons. And like I said, there's two modes for the button. You can either press it once and have it stay on and then you press it again at the end, or you can have it where you hold down the button the whole time you're transmitting. Now, the other cool thing you can do with this device is you can change channels with it. So you can go up or down, just like the standard buttons that are on the top of most of the President microphones. And you can see here, I'm pushing the button and it's going up or down. I'm using the Bluetooth transmitter for that, and no problems. And then you just press the button when you're ready to talk.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so here's the strap on the steering wheel. Wanted to actually show it in use how you put this on there. It just straps around, goes over the little plastic pieces that stick out, and then you can kind of adjust it where you want it and tighten it to the level so that's not going to move around. You can angle it depending on how you want to hit it with your thumb. And here's the plastic piece. This is how you secure it when you're ready to push that in all the way. Once you get it strapped down, you can then install the microphone portion. It just clips in, and it's really the front. You kind of put the back end and then push down in the front to clip it in. Once you get it clipped into the front, it is in there. It's really hard to get out. You may also want to mount it someplace else without using the strap. You could probably put a piece of Velcro and mount this on the dash, perhaps, if you're just looking for a different place to mount it. The microphone connector, as I showed before, doesn't have any threads on it. It's just a piece of rubber, and you basically just shove it on, and it kind of, tensions over the threads there. This is it going on the President McKinley. No problems. Pretty easy to mount, and again, just be careful not to knock it about, I guess, too much. All right, I plugged my original microphone back in here just to show you guys, but I did a bunch of audio tests with the standard microphone versus the Bluetooth microphone, and I did that with the local station and on the SDR. I didn't get any recordings for you, unfortunately, but I can tell you what I found. Before I do that, though, let me tell you about who might be interested in this device. Now, a lot of us in the newer vehicles have trouble finding someplace to mount a radio. In this case, it wasn't an issue in this vehicle, but space is a premium these days. So you may have to mount your radio further away, maybe someplace out of the way. Some guys have mounted it in glove box and other places before, out of sight. And this would actually be awesome for that. You could mount your radio in your glove box, under a seat, in the passenger side someplace, anywhere out of the way. And then you could use this Bluetooth device to talk on the radio, and you don't even have to touch it. If you're a driver and you're on the road a lot and you don't want to be taking your hands off, for truckers, if you're in the vehicle, a lot of the guys will have it mounted up top. You're reaching up to grab the microphone. You're pulling it down. Not great when you're in stop and go traffic or other stuff and you're having to pay attention. This is where a hands-free device would be awesome. So I think it's a really cool device for that. That's why I wanted to buy it and try it. If you were going to mount a radio and you couldn't get a microphone to where you were easily, the cable maybe not long enough. But yeah, super cool for that. Now, the audio quality on it. It has an NRC function on it as well. I forgot to mention. Tested that. Didn't see a huge difference in the different levels for that with this on or off. I couldn't really tell. So that one's kind of a wash for me. The audio quality versus a wired mic is not as good. And we kind of would expect that, right? It's probably about 25% less modulation driving. I kind of found, especially on lower sideband when I was messing around with that. I think on AM, if you were pretty close to another station and you were talking on here, it wouldn't sound like a huge difference. The audio quality wasn't quite as crisp, though. That's what the other station I worked with was telling me, and that's also what I heard on my SDR. It's just a little bit muddy, and the further away I got, that's kind of where I noticed it more. When I was close to someone, like, if we were in town a mile or two apart, I think this would work totally fine on AM. But yeah, when you're talking DX, I'm not sure this is going to give you, if you're one of those audio guys, I'm not sure it's going to give you the amount of modulation you'd want or the crispness in your audio quality. So that's kind of the downside of it. The only other problem is when you're driving with the strap on there, if you're one of those guys that likes to let your hands slide after a turn, and that's me, I found it a little annoying for that. I got used to it pretty quickly, like all things, you get used to it. But after 40, 50 years of driving, it may be kind of hard for people to break that habit. So anyway, this is the President Bluetooth microphone. Really neat device. It wasn't 100% hit for me, but I'm sure there's guys out there that would need this and use it. So hopefully this is helpful. Thanks for watching CB Radio Magazine.